is the 2026 Range Rover Velar S worth every penny. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today we're at Land Rover of Shreveport to go over the particulars on this Velar S and give you all of the important details and tell you what you can expect to find if this is something you want to buy. If you would like to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video, and I hope this shows up on the screen. But in case somebody says, that's not a 2026, well, guess what? You can see it right there. It says 2026. Fuji white is the exterior color. You're gonna have your LED headlights and your daytime running lights. We'll show you how everything looks. You're also gonna have those nice bright turn signal indicators. There are your daytime running lights. And here are your headlights, and those are your low beams. We won't hit you with the high beams, but just so you can see what's going on here, that's what you have. The Range Rover logo prominently displayed, and the front end is going to look like any other Range Rover out there, but you're not going to have to pay as much with the Velar as you would if you went with other models. And you can see the sensors across the front, lots of great driving aids and safety features. It's nice that we don't have gloss black in this area because you know that's going to get a lot of attention from the rocks and debris on the road. And if it wasn't a matte black finish, well, then it might show the damage a little bit more. And you do have the active air curtains right here. You should be able to see the daylight coming through right there. And this model is going to come in all-wheel drive. That's always a good thing. We'll work our way around to the side and show you the optional 20-inch wheels. So if you want the larger wheel, this is the option that is available. We're gonna have the gloss black with our mirrors, and they are power folding side view mirrors with the turn signal indicators built in. They're also going to be heated, power adjustable, and have blind spot monitoring built in. You have the deployable door handles on the front and rear doors. Show you how that works real quick. And I like the black with the upper area right here. That really sets things off nicely. And as far as your tail lights go, let's take a quick look at what we're going to have there. I'll show you how everything looks with all of that. You can see the animation that takes place. A very nice modern look. Something that I like back here as well is that the window wiper for the rear window is tucked right up in this area. Gives it a much cleaner look than it would if it had the exposed wiper here. I know most people are not too worried about that, but that's just something I like to see. Your shark fin antenna will be up top, and you have your rear window or rear roof spoiler back here over the rear window, and a panoramic sunroof. Motivation to get the Velar down the road comes from the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that puts out 247 horsepower and 269 pounds-feet of torque, mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. How about your MPGs? 22 city, 26 highway, 23 combined, and 4.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. The gas tank size comes in at 21.6 gallons on a single tank of gas. In the city, you should be able to drive about 475 miles and 561 miles out on the highway. Here is the remote for the Velar. No changes for 2026 where that is concerned, or anything else for that matter if you were curious. But you can see what all you have here. Now we're gonna open the power tailgate. You can tow up to 5,511 pounds. Now you might notice that that tailgate doesn't seem to open all the way. You can raise or lower it manually to wherever you want it to be if you need to reset the height. And then you're gonna push that all the way up, and then you just hold this button right here down, and you listen for the beeps. It takes a few seconds, and you probably won't hear those because it's so noisy out here, but I just heard the beep. So we're going to close that, hit that button right there and let that close on down. And then you'll see that when I reopen it, that it opens to the height where I just set it. And you can reset it any way you want to, or to any position you want to, depending on the height of the ceiling where you may be parking. Cargo capacity ranges between 30.9 and 62.7 cubic feet. You have the grocery bag hangers. There's 2 on each side. We'll also have your 12-volt power outlet, if I can get that cover off of there, right there. The cargo cover that is right here is removable, so that is not going to stay there. If it's in the way, you don't have to worry about it. And then you can see how everything looks when the seats are lowered. And one more important detail back here in the rear is the fact that you have a spare tire. There's your panoramic sunroof that I mentioned earlier in the video. You can open this front portion and you do have the shade that can be drawn forward if there's too much sun coming into the interior, whatever the situation is that calls for that. The armrest has plenty of space, although I do wish this area was completely flat because it does kind of take away from at least my ability, but not a big deal. You can just change the position of your hand. Don't think that's too much trouble. And you can see that we have room with the door bin right there. We're going to have the rear seat pockets on the back of each seat, as you can see. Also your rear air conditioning vents and a couple of USB options. And there is another 12-volt power outlet. And we'll take a look right here at the fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in. These seats do have, the seat backs have a little bit of recline built into them. However, that is not adjustable. The sticker price is $66,615. Let's see what else you get for that sticker price. The driver and the passenger seat are going to be heated and power adjustable, and both have lumbar support. At that sticker price, they better, right? A little bit more space with the door bin and the armrest on these front doors. Nothing out of the ordinary where that is concerned. That's what we have. There is the glove box, plenty of room within that area. Here is your upper console. This is the control for the power shade. This is what it looks like when it's drawn forward. And then the control over here on the left is for opening and closing the power sunroof. And you can see what else is here. You'll have an auto dimming driver's side mirror and all of the controls for your side view mirrors to adjust. You can lock and unlock the windows. You're going to have your power windows, one touch down and one touch up for these windows. Easy to deal with. I like that. And you have seat memory. The only thing I wish was different is that you had seat memory on the passenger side. If you're going to have it on the driver's side, you should have it on the passenger side as well. Your steering wheel mounted controls, everything for adaptive cruise control right here. There's your heated steering wheel. Don't need that today in Northwest Louisiana. Not for a few months, for quite a while. And everything over here, you know what the rest of that is, I believe. But if you need to make some changes, you can push right there and you can go in and make your changes to your display layout, whatever it is you need to do. Now, you don't have a head-up display in this particular case, but probably not a big deal for most people. We'll also find our shifter paddles on the back of the steering wheel. Over here, the control for your front and rear window wipers, your headlights, all of that will be controlled here, and the turn signal indicators right there. If you haven't learned how to use those, when you push that into the up position, that means you're letting people know what you're doing when you're turning to the right or changing lanes to the right, whatever you're doing on that side, and the same thing to the left when you push it into that down position. I know that's earth-shattering information for some drivers out there. And here is one of my absolute favorite features of the Range Rover Velar, the 11.4-inch Pivi Pro infotainment screen that will handle just about anything you need. You have wireless capabilities for pairing your smartphone, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. If you want to turn the auto stop start feature off or back on, you can do it right there. You can go in and make changes as far as the settings to your vehicle go. If we can get that to come up for us, there we go. You can see your driving modes that you have: off-road, eco, comfort, and dynamic. If brake hold mode is not your thing, here's where you're going to come to turn that off, or if you want to use it, again, you can turn that on right there. Dynamic stability control, you can see what all is here. There's your hill descent control and all-terrain progress control. That's a tongue twister too, apparently. And we'll X out of that, and we can go right here to adjust everything with our air conditioning. Now you can see you only have the heated seats. They're not ventilated. I would love for them to be ventilated. But you can see what you have here. You have seat heat. Now, on a lot of Range Rovers, this is where you'll find the controls for your lumbar support. But as I told you earlier, that's actually on the seats themselves. So you don't have to worry about that. Navigation, you can connect your phone, as I said. Everything is here. A very simple system to learn and use. It may look complicated if you're not used to it, but I can promise you that it is not. You've got your wheel info right here, as you can see. We'll keep scrolling over here just to show you a few more of the things that are going on, and then we can go right here. We're going to touch that area right there, and you can go in. There's your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You can see some of the other features and functionality that we have here. But the main thing I wanted to show you is going to be right here with our multiple camera views. I just love how this works. It makes it so easy to see what's going on all around your Velar. Very nice and very easy to deal with. You can even go over here with the one-touch options to change your camera position depending on what you need to see and where you need to see. So a few different options where all of that is concerned. There's your front view camera. And obviously you have the rear view camera as well. So there that is. Got the trajectory lines going on. And we're going to go back into park. You also have your off-road view. So depending on where you are and what you're dealing with, you can see what's going on directly in front of you. Very nice, easy to deal with, simple to use. Here are your settings. You notice I went to the dark theme to try and make it look a little bit better so we didn't have that motion going across the screen. The dark theme works with that, but if you want to turn that off, you can do that here. And you can see some of the other things that are here. If you want to adjust your audio, here's where you do that. Then you can go right here to all. You can even add some things over here. You can add your account if you want to right there. And then you have all of your other features right here, easy to deal with. A simple system. I like it. And you have a clean look here. I do wish there were physical controls for the air conditioning, but there are not. All of that is within the screen. You will find your wireless charging pad and a USB port right there. We can hide that away if we want to. The shifter, I like that it fits directly in the palm of my hand as well as it does. My hand just wraps around that. Very comfortable, easy to use. There's where you go back into park right there. Your cup holders, and we'll also find our doors right here for the center console. And you can see there's a good bit of space within there. And the good thing is you can open one side or the other side. Makes it very nice to deal with. You have the old crap handles at every door. Not that 247 horsepower is necessarily going to have anybody reaching for the door handles or the old crap handles, but you never know. And your vanity mirror with the light. And how about a sampling of the Meridian sound system here? 400 watt sound system. We'll do the best we can. In person, it definitely is going to sound better than I think my microphone will pick up for you to hear. But I know a lot of you want to hear this, so here we go. Don't want to go too long with that, but hopefully that's enough to give you just a bit of an idea of how it sounds. Okay, here we go on the test drive. Let's drive over the railroad tracks and give it the test. A little bit of noise, but the Velar soaked the bumps up pretty well. The ride is just a teeny bit stiff, but then again, I've been driving on a road that was pretty rough before I turned the camera on, which is pretty much everywhere you go around here in Northwest Louisiana. Our state prides themselves on having terrible roads, but I'm sure a lot of you can say the same thing. But overall, I am pretty comfortable here. The driver's seat itself seems to be comfortable. I can adjust everything as needed. If somebody is over 6 feet tall, they're going to fit just fine, around 5 feet as well. And I don't think I mentioned it earlier, you have a control right here on the right-hand side of the steering column that allows you to adjust the steering wheel. It is power adjustable, tilt and telescopically adjustable. So there's quite a bit going on here as far as adjustability goes, not only with the steering wheel and the driver's seat, but you also have that lumbar support on both seats up here. That's something that is always nice to have, but at a higher price point, it's something you likely expect and it's something you should have. With all-wheel drive, there's a lot of versatility that you have for those of you that live in an area where you have snow 9 months out of the year or maybe a little bit more. I do not envy you at all if that is you. But an all-wheel drive vehicle like this is going to be ultra beneficial where that's concerned. It has enough ground clearance where that should be helpful too. And the acceleration here, some might say, well, if I get the 2.4 or 2-liter, 247 horsepower 4-cylinder engine, is that going to be enough? I don't think you're going to have any trouble getting down the road if that's what you end up with under the hood of your Velar. And as you can see, when I get to dealing with a slower moving vehicle, very easy to pass, barely easing into the gas pedal, no problem whatsoever. Easy to see out of for the most part. I do wish there was a clear sight rear view mirror here. That should be standard equipment in my opinion. It's not a big deal right now, although that center headrest is a little bit of an issue, but not too bad. But if I had someone sitting there, it would be much better to have the clear sight rear view mirror as opposed to the conventional style mirror. But overall, I think it is a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. It's nice and responsive, a good turning radius for the size of the SUV of the Velar. Definitely good for a multitude of driving situations. So depending on where you live, you should be able to take care of everything you need to with the Velar. Now, one more little test I want to give right here. Now, we're not going to be able to drive super fast through here, but let's see what the noise is like driving on this area. Now keep in mind, my microphone does pick up quite a bit of noise, so it might sound worse in the video than it actually is in person. I don't think it's too bad. That's an extremely rough section of road back there, and then we went over the railroad tracks. I don't think it's bad as far as the road noise goes, but everybody is going to have their personal opinions based on what their expectations and desires are. That's why it's a really good idea that you get in and you drive these vehicles for yourself. Okay, tell me what you think about the 2026 Range Rover Velar S. Is it worth every penny? Tell me what your thoughts are. I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends at Land Rover of Shreveport for loaning me this Velar for the day so I can tell you all about it, and a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's helpful to me and I do appreciate it. Please subscribe, that way you don't miss any future videos. And make sure to share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.